Okay, so today here's what I want to start with. I'm going to start with this. I want you to think for a second. I want to know, what is 5x to the third plus 2x? I'll give you a second to think about it. Write down your answer and see if you wrote down this. If you wrote down that, you are wrong. Or if you wrote down this, you're also wrong. The answer of 5x to the third plus 2x is 5x to the third plus 2x. And the reason why 5x to the third plus 2x can't be simplified any further is because of this plus sign. Before, in the last chapter, if you remember, we dealt with things like this. And I asked you before, what's all the signs in between? And you said multiplication. And anytime you have multiplication in between anything, I can do whatever order that I want, and so it allowed us to combine a whole bunch of things. Polynomials, because they have these plus signs in between, don't allow for you to do very much. So today we're going to work on adding and subtracting polynomials. And here's the first thing you need to realize. You can't combine any polynomials that aren't exactly the same. So when I look through this, I go, oh, I have a 5x squared over here, and I have a 2x squared over here. Well, 5x squared and a 2x squared, well, they're both x squared, so I can kind of count up how many x squareds I have. Well, I have 5 over here, I have 2 over here. I have a total of 7 x squareds. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to look for this 3x and look if I have any more 3x's. Oh, look at this. I have a 3x over here. So over here I have 3x plus negative 3x. Oh, that's 0 x's. Then I'm going to look at this term. I have no other x to the thirds, so I can't combine that with anything, so I'm just going to write that down. And then I only have 1 5, so I'm going to write that down. And because we said before we can't combine anything else, I do want to write it a slightly different way. Here's one thing that you want to remember. You always want to put the biggest exponent first. So exponent with the highest degree, and then go in descending order. So that is the next closest. That would be the last one. This would be my final answer. Let's see another adding one. Okay, so I'm going to try to add these two things together. First thing I look and I say, oh, I have 3x here. I have a negative 3x there. 3x plus negative 3x will give me 0x. I have a second x cubed here. That doesn't match up with anything. And I have a 4x squared here. That doesn't match up with anything. So my final answer would be 7x cubed plus 4x squared. Okay, let's try another example. Okay, this problem is subtraction. Subtraction is much harder than addition in the fact that more people struggle with subtraction than they do with addition normally. Here's my recommendation. I find all my like terms. So I know the 3x squared and the negative 2x squared are similar. I know my negative 5x and my 6x are similar. I know my 1 and my negative 2 are similar. And I rewrite everything. So I say 3x squared minus a negative 2x squared. And the reason why I rewrite that is so I can remember that it's subtraction. Then my next one is negative 5x minus 6x. And then I have 1 minus my negative 2. Then I go through and deal with some of these sign issues. Well, I have a negative negative. That's really positive. I have a negative negative again. That's really positive. So this one becomes 5x squared. Stuff in blue becomes negative 11x. And this stuff in pink becomes 3. And that would be my final answer. Again, I would really recommend that you rewrite the different things together. Let's try another one. Okay, so for this subtraction problem, I have a 5x squared and a 2x squared that's the same. I have an x to the third, which isn't similar to anything. I have a negative 10, which is similar to a 5. So let's see if we can rewrite this stuff. So in pink, we would say that we have 5x squared minus 2x. In green, I would just write negative 3x cubed. And then in yellow, I would have negative 10 minus 5. This would give me 3x squared. This would give me negative 3x cubed. And this would give me negative 15. Again, I would probably want to rewrite everything so that it's in descending order. So my final answer would be negative 3x cubed plus 3x squared minus 15. I put a plus in between this because this is a positive 3. Let's do one last example. And this is kind of the tricky subtraction example that we'll see. Okay, so I'm going to write this one here. This doesn't match up with anything. These two will match up. And this doesn't match up with anything. So I have 5x squared. I'm going to have negative 5 minus a negative 7. And here's the tricky part about this one. I'm going to have 0 x's from this first one minus 3x. I have to show that I am subtracting this 3x. So I will get 5x squared minus, well that's plus plus, so I guess that would be plus 2 minus 3x. Be very careful with this one. Like if you have a term on the back side that doesn't have anything with the front side, you are still subtracting this. You're just subtracting it from nothing, which will change this sign to negative. And that will be my final answer. Try the different problems today. If you get stuck, please let me know and I'll try my best to help.